I'm not going to specify secular because the policy of every government depends on the mandate they get from the people, and they can decide. However, the fact is that the Articles 25 to 28 of the Constitution, which give you not only the freedom of religion, the right to worship as you wish, but even the right to propagate your faith, and essentially guarantee the right of every Indian citizen to practice their own faith in the way in which they deem appropriate, that is de facto what we understand by secularism. So whether you have the word secularism or secular or not, the Constitution is secular. That can't be changed. Now coming back to
But yet, Dr. Tharoor, today, if you're practicing in your own home, as we've just seen recently, you can be arrested, especially if you're Muslim.
So what is happening now? Well, no, also Christians have also endured some attacks, particularly in some of the Hindi heartland states.
And Orissa.
And the problem is some of these states have passed, quote unquote, anti-conversion laws, which ostensibly outlaw conversion by inducement or force, but in practice are being weaponized by vigilante groups who are not actually government bodies. These are sort of private organized bands, of many cases thugs. They have been going around intruding on people's freedom of worship by claiming that what they were doing was preventing forced conversion or conversion by allurement. Now, this has created a real situation of tension in many parts of the north. You know that there is a particular problem amongst the Christians in the tribal belts and in other areas, and there is also a problem for Muslims in some other areas. All I can say on this one is that the time does not yet seem to have come when a case has arisen that would actually raise a constitutional challenge against these anti-conversion laws. And I don't know how such a challenge would work out in the Supreme Court, but if you look at the provisions of these anti-conversion laws, they have by and large been drafted in a way, because already in any situation, forcing anyone to convert is obviously illegal anyway. And the law simply puts into black and white something that was already de facto illegal. Allurement is a little more difficult to prove. And therefore, arguing that somebody was induced or allured to convert would be a little more challenging. The bigger question, however, is how do you square these state anti-conversion laws with the provisions of the Constitution that guarantee freedom of religion, freedom of worship, and freedom to propagate religion? This is something only the Supreme Court can pronounce definitively on.